like everything else that I've done, I think every time I work on something, there's like some sort of roadblock, you know, like when I replaced on the SEMA, I talked about this last time. I did all the front suspension. I changed it over. My right side tension rods were like seized into the subframe, and I had to just hammer them out and pry them out as hard as I could. And then the other side has a bolt that can't come out all the way unless you take the AC condenser off the engine, which the tolerance, dude, and the tolerance to get that AC condenser out is like so thin. So that wasn't a good time either. And so that took me way too long just to get that AC condenser out of the way to pull the bolt out. But yeah, I think there's always roadblocks that you don't think about, you know, because when I tell my wife like, hey, I'm going to go work on the car, I used to just give her like ideal times. You know what I mean? I'd be like, well, if everything goes to plan, this will take me an hour and a half. But now I've started giving like worst case scenario times. I'm like, you know, it'll probably take me 4 hours. If it's quicker, then we'll be happy. You know?
I don't even tell my wife. I just disappear. And if I come back within a reasonable time, she's happy. If I'm out there and the sun is going down, she understands.
Right. That's kind of how you got to be, dude. I used to try to, I think, sell it. You know what I mean? I used to try to sell it as in like, oh, it'll only be an hour or an hour and a half. And you got to manage the expectations. You know, you really got to be like, yo, this might take 4 hours. And then if it doesn't, she's like, oh, wow, that was quick. Like, yeah, it was quick, babe. You're welcome. Like,
I don't know about you, but every time I come back and I'm working on my car, I look like I've been through a war zone. Like I have one sweater that I always wear, and it's black, and that's on purpose because I just know, like, I'm gonna look like hell when I come. I got rocks in my hair. My fucking hands look like I just stuck them right in grease.
I'm the same way, dude. I can't stay clean to save my life. And I need to go finish that SEMA at some point too, and it doesn't even take that much more work. I just need to get after it.
You got too many cars.
I really do. And the 240, you reminded me, because I've got the same brake problem in my 240 right now where the brake's stuck on. The lights just from that pedal, that switch under the pedal. And I've just been lazy about that too. I need to get that fixed. But anyways, dude, yeah, I think that's I don't know, man. Cars are tricky when you're trying to get shit done. And like you said, if I had a lift or something, that would be a totally different ball game.
That'd be a game changer.
That's the goal. Yeah, at some point.
Everybody out there, get with your best friend and just go half and half on a lift in a garage somewhere. It'll save you so much time.
And they're not even expensive. Yeah, I mean, really.
You can buy them used. I know there's a company that just deals in used lifts.
A couple grand, like $2 or $3 for a 2-post.
People pay more for wheels than they do on like tools and shit.
Dude, no shit, dude. No shit. That's me. I was showing Jessica one of the Final Bout videos that came out from this weekend. Somebody had already posted a video, and there was an R34 on blitzes, and Jess goes, "Oh, I like those wheels," and I was like, "I got those in the garage, girl. What's up?" Yeah, and shit, fuck, dude. Don't attack me like this. I'm thinking back right now. I'm like, shit, I got like $6,000 in wheels.
You could do a straight up trade for those blitzes for like a fucking lift, man. The older you get, when your back starts going out, you'll be like, that's gonna be looking mighty tasty.
That's passive income, my guy. Shoot, yeah.
Some people deal in diamonds. We deal in wheels and shit.
You're right. How's that shop doing overall for you for the Stagea?
As far as shops in the UK, it's the best that I've dealt with. Like I said, the quality, the prices aren't ridiculous for the work that I've had. They did my front half shafts, and he redid them to OEM standards. That's what I'm saying. Like, this guy doesn't fuck around, and it was really not really cheap, really affordable, really realistic prices, and he's good on time frames and everything. So.
Yeah, I've got a dude here in Texas that I go to. Shout out to Josh McGuire, Sparky built. He does a lot of steering racks, which is why I took my car to him, because I had my rack rebuilt. And I just didn't have time, dude. Now, I've talked about this before, but I very seldom have time to work on things. So I took my 240. I said, hey, dude, you know, you can put the rack in, like, because I had taken that rack out like 3 times. And the first 2 times he rebuilt them. And then he was like, dude, your rack's just messed up. Like, there was a passage inside of the rack that wasn't supposed to be passing fluid that was. And it kept spitting out. And so he's like, you need to get a new rack. And so I just had the new rack sent, and I was like, you know what, dude? In case I'm fucking this up, like, I'll let you put it in and then, you know, sort it out. So he did that and aligned it and fixed, well, he didn't fix my brakes, but he bled them. which my master cylinder is not great, dude. Like it's just, I don't know, something with my master or my booster, because I have like all new, hubs. I have new disc rotors, new calipers, new e-brake assemblies. I blew compressed air through my brake lines, like all my hard lines. Everything in that brake system is new. The master cylinder is new too, but it takes so much leg effort to push my brakes. And so I just need a new size. Like I need a new master cylinder.
Chase bays, bro. I don't know if you looked into them, but
I wanted to do the Delete kit, years ago, and I haven't looked at it since. But I'm debating it a little bit. I don't know how I want to go on the 240 these days, because it's like you see so many that are kitted and slammed and chopped up that it's like, do I want to try to keep it OEM-ish? I mean, that's why I did the Z32 brakes with the drums in the back, was because it was like, this is a pretty factory setup. I get to keep my factory e-brake, but have it actually be good, And so that's why I'm kind of like, I don't know what I want to do yet, but I think the Chase Brace kit is a great kit. It's like super repeatable. If shit breaks, you can easily find the stuff on the shelf. But the only pitfall in my mind is just having it be unoriginal, I guess, which isn't a big deal to most people.
I used to be that same way with my car, especially with the values going up and up and up. But at the end of the day, I feel like if I tried to sell my car, I would hate myself forever. So I should do everything I can to make it the best car for me.
Yeah.
And that really, modernizing is the only way to go, really. Like, there's a lot of shit on that car, GTRs I'm talking about, they were cool at the time, but they're old school. Real old school.
Yeah.
So there's stuff to do it better, so you might as well do it,
I get that. Which also kind of brings me to my point that I've been, I don't know, dude, like I've been thinking about this for a long time is, have you ever heard of the website Year One? It's like for classic muscle cars.
Oh yeah, dude, you could build a whole damn Mustang off of fucking Year One. From the
like when are we gonna get this for Japanese cars? You know what I mean? Like, at what point are companies going to start recreating, like, everything for our shit?
Well, so, I mean, I don't know how deeply you follow it for your cars, but for my car specifically, there are companies that are starting to do that kind of thing, where it's like, we make the whole front end. We make brand new headlights that they're not OEM,
right,
but they're factory reproductions. We make the water overflow tanks, like shit like that.
Yeah.
Year One kind of condenses it all into one place, which that's kind
of
what we need.
And it also, I mean, they have like full, metal panels and shit that are reproduction. And it's like, that would be so critical, because we're right now getting at a point where, factories aren't making those parts anymore. And so it's like, at what point are we going to, as a community, start to value services like this, where we could find reproduction parts that are factory-ish,
Well, I think the biggest problem, honestly, is the expense. These cars used to be, we've covered this before, these cars used to be affordable, fun cars, but anybody that wants to keep them going or even have one that's in tip-top shape, Nismo has a reproduction program for like GTRs where you can send them your car and they will make it brand new. But it's like $300,000.
Yeah. And maybe we need to just, right. And I think that's unreasonable. I mean, the nice thing about Year One is like, yeah, muscle cars are expensive too. But like these parts inherently aren't a lot of money for what it is. You know what I mean? It's just the demand is there. I don't know. I mean, I see what you're saying, though. You're saying that there's companies out there, they're just kind of everywhere, whereas Year One is just one cohesive place to find everything.
Well, the biggest thing with Year One is you can order the part and do it yourself. So if you want to take the time to learn the skill and do it yourself, you can. But you can't go to, like, again, I'll use Nismo. You can't go to them and be like, hey, I need a new, front left inner fender for my GTR because mine's rusted through. They're not going to be like,
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, dude, because when we had Jess's Celica, it was a 76. The roof was caved in. A tree fell on it. But aside from that, the car was actually in really good shape. And her uncle, who's a body guy, was like, oh, we'll just buy a roof skin for it. Well, no, you can't buy a roof skin for a 70s Celica. You know what I mean? Like, nobody makes them.
Yeah. You got to go
same thing,
cut
dude.
one off of another car, but who's going to want to do that? Like,
exactly. And when I was over in Japan, I'd found a roof on Yahoo Auctions. Like they chopped the roof off of one, and they chopped, I forget what else. Man, yeah, I can't remember. Or maybe they sold the front end. I don't remember, but I remember seeing the Celica pop up in pieces, and I was like, I should just buy this roof to have it. And I think they wanted like $500. And I didn't. But you're absolutely right. It's like you would have to basically kill 2 cars to make one decent one.
Yeah, that's where we're at nowadays, man. Especially with these old school Japanese cars that never came, or even if they came to the States, they're still hard to find, man. It's getting to be dark days around. There's a guy in I think he's in New Zealand or Australia that does a lot of body work, and he's obviously does a lot of stuff on JDM stuff because they love that stuff over there. But some guy had his inner front fender; it was like completely rusted through. And he had to go chop up another car to do that. And just like you said, you cannibalize 2 cars to make one.
Right.
So that just means there's one less. That means the value just went up on whatever cars are out there because there's one less now.
I know. I don't know, man. The older I get, the more just classic Toyotas are just the epitome of sick cars. I don't know, man. Like I always grew up with Nissans, but then just seeing these old Corollas and Celicas and shit, it hit different. Oh, dude. Speaking of which, my TE72, right? We talked about this. I sold it a year ago. I sold it for $3,200, I think, or $3,300. I paid $18 for it. I got it running. I sold it. And down here in Texas, that was the cheapest one because, like, dude, there's so many Puerto Ricans and so many Mexicans that just really, really love these Corollas, right? And I was talking to a guy from Puerto Rico when I'd sold an engine to him. And he was just talking about how that was just such a common car down there. And so back in like the 80s, they would just soup them up, like that was what they had. So that was what they had to work with. And they would put like these 350 small block carbs on them. You know what I mean? Like just these really innovative ways to tune them. So the Corolla became a super popular tuning car in Puerto Rico. Anyways, so down here in Texas, you have a large Hispanic community. And so they really, really value these things even down here. So you will have a hard time finding one for less than like $6,000 or $7,000. And I found the one that I sold got listed again, and they listed it for $6,000. And I'm like, dog, that shit is not going to sell for. I'm like, there's no interior, like there's Lexan on the back window. Like this is not a nice Corolla. It's not going to sell for $6,000. But that was a huge tangent. Yeah, I'm salty. It's okay.
Did it sell?
No, it hasn't sold, but I want to buy it back. My point being is that I just love old Toyotas, and I like old Nissans too. I guess I've just never had one.
I mean, what's considered an old Nissan though? Because obviously we're not talking about Silvias.
Well, you're talking Datsuns at that point.
Yeah.
For us, you know what I mean? I guess in Japan they're still a Nissan, but yeah, dude, I don't know. Old cars just have a totally different feel to them, man. And the carb plays a big part in it because you can like distinctly tell the throttle response difference.
I've never driven a non-turbo car, so I couldn't even tell you.
What a flex, dude.
I know.
I don't fuck with the peasant shit, dude.
I want to. Well, no, I lied. I just lied. I'm sorry, all the listeners. I had the Chaser, but that car was so slow that it didn't matter.
Yeah, that shit was so slow, dude. Damn. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just seeing all these guys, like the Motor Fix team got me stoked again because it's just like all 4 AGs, And I just think that there's something so cool about a 4-cylinder, like side draft carbed car. I mean, just to, I guess, round it out so we can put a close to this podcast. It's crazy, dude. We hit time, and like I just remember being at like 30 minutes, and I was like, wow, we burned through our talking points fast. But no, man, to round it out, I did want to circle back because we talked about, with the street chic Japanese media, seeing what's going on over there from drifting, from a journalism perspective, whatever. Like a lot of dudes obviously look at Drift Tengoku for most of their media, or they can get the magazines here, which I am a huge advocate for. Like I've got, probably 30, 40-ish issues, and I just think they're great. Yeah. They're nice because you can see what the newest parts coming out are, which I mean almost always are like, D-Max, but it's like there's still other companies that'll put ads in the paper or in the magazines too, which I think is useful.
Yeah.
And